Hello everyone, welcome to Mentor Mag's channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you what I learned in my career with Black & Decker. I learned the Lean Six Sigma technique way back in 2005 and 6 and applied Lean Six Sigma for process improvement in the business that I was managing for Black & Decker across Middle East and Africa. I gained a lot of insights in applying Lean Six Sigma techniques. Thanks to my mentor, Joanne Faulkner, I was able to get quite a bit of results by applying Lean Six Sigma framework called as DMACC. And that is the framework I'm going to be sharing with you today. So, apart from looking at DMACC as a framework for process improvement in businesses, we can also apply the core principle in our daily lives. So let's take a more personal approach to DMACC framework in today's session. The topic: how to use DMACC in daily life. Well, let's begin. I've prepared a mind map to explore the key concepts within the DMACC framework. So, the first question to ask is, what is the DMACC framework? Well, DMACC is an acronym for D, define, M, measure, A, analyze, I, improve, and C, control. And that is the DMACC framework. This framework is the foundation for Lean Six Sigma process and quality improvement tools that is often used in manufacturing corporations across the world over the last 5 decades. So let's take a historical perspective of Lean Six Sigma, which is the origin of DMACC framework. So Lean Six Sigma. Let's first understand what is Lean. Lean is the set of tools developed primarily in Japan by Japanese manufacturing companies over the last 100 years, and the key principle of Lean is to eliminate what the Japanese call as muda. In other words, eliminate waste. They discovered and applied 8 different ways to eliminate waste in the manufacturing process. And we all know today, Made in Japan is one of the strongest quality labels that you can get on our planet Earth. And Lean was the methodology that the Japanese use almost in every single factory which produces a made in Japan product. And as you know, a quality process is primary requirement to give a quality product output. So that is the origin of Lean. 6 Sigma. 6 Sigma simply signifies 6 defects in 1 million observation or 1 million products being produced. Only 6 defects. 6 Sigma framework is a process variation control framework. So it's a statistical measurement in a normal distribution curve and keeping the variation in the process to 6 sigma is the goal of a standardized quality process that will give a 6 sigma product output. That means almost zero defect. And there are many companies in the world which have perfected Lean 6 Sigma processes in manufacturing. There are global brands. One of them is Toyota, Sony, Motorola, General Electric, Allied Signal. These were the companies. And 6 Sigma was born first in Motorola in 1986. Then it was perfected at Allied Signal, and the famous Mr. Jack Welch adopted this particular 6 Sigma technique across General Electric plants and perfected the 6 Sigma technique to grow General Electric to what it had become in the peak of his successful long tenure in General Electric Corporation. And in the decade of 2000, in the new millennium, Lean 6 Sigma became to be known as what it is today and became extremely popular in global manufacturing plants across the globe. So that is the context and the origin of how Lean 6 Sigma has come to be. Now, how do we apply define, measure, analyze, improve and control framework or DMACC framework in our daily lives? So let's take an example and let's go deeper into it. Yeah. The first aspect is to define. That is the fundamental process initiation step. Einstein said that the effort into anything takes almost 90% in defining the problem statement correctly. And if teams and people spend 90% of their initiation time of a project in defining things correctly, accurately, then the solution becomes obvious. It will only take 10% to identify the solution, 10% of time and effort. But one has to be committed to define the problem, because often whatever we assume to be the problem never is the problem. Therefore, it is important to provide a clear, systematic approach of defining anything. Let's, for example, take a day in the office. What happens when we start a project and we have to have a meeting? There's a project kickoff meeting, and then there is a broad discussion on what needs to be done, and after a few hours or minutes people disperse, and that is where the problems begin. In order to succeed, one has to define clearly and apply the definition in a framework. One of the toolkits available is called as the RACI matrix. RACI stands for responsible, accountable, consult, inform. So if you take any set of tasks, let's say there are 10 tasks or 10 items that needs to be done, whether it is business or whether it is our personal life. it is important to define who is responsible for a task, who is accountable for a task, because it may not be the same person, who needs to be consulted in order to undertake the task. Maybe somebody has additional information in order to provide successful accomplishment of the task, and who needs to be informed. There could be people who are impacted, people who are providing a budget, people who are approving, or people who need to be kept in the know. They need to be informed. So these 4 roles need to be defined by writing down the person's name: responsible, accountable, consult, inform, RACI matrix. So this is one example. So problem definition is fundamental to process improvement, life improvement, business improvement. And this step often takes majority of the time. The lion's share of the initial phase of a particular project, whatever it may be, has to be invested in the definition phase. Well, now let us say one is defined. In our personal life, let us say you are setting a particular goal. And a common example of goal setting for a lot of people is to get fit. So people say, I want to get fit. Often they only use the measurement of body weight as fitness. They would say, I am at 90 kilos and I would like to reduce by 10 kilos or 15 kilos. And that is exactly the wrong way to set a health improvement goal. So in order to improve holistically and in a wholesome way and achieve well-being, one has to define clearly what are the aspects about my life. What is it that I am doing as work? Where is it that I am living? What are the weather conditions and climatic conditions of that particular city or area? How many seasons does it have? What is the nature of my work? And what is the food that I am consuming? And what is my energy consumption and what is my energy output? So one needs to take a complete look of one's life and one's health status at the moment in time, and then set a holistic approach, define a holistic goal across all parameters of health and well-being, not just weight loss. And this is one of the reasons why most people do not succeed in achieving their fitness goals, because they have not defined it correctly, appropriately. So please take a more holistic approach in the definition phase of setting your personal health improvement goals. Second is measuring. So once we have defined what our goals are, we need to be able to measure. And why is measurement important? Because if we do not measure, how will we know where we are versus the goal post? So we have to set up some measurement tools and we have to record. So these days it's extremely simple and easy because we have a Fitbit that one can wear, and the Fitbit can provide the vital statistics required on a daily basis. But over and above what the Fitbit is providing, depending on your holistic fitness plan, you need to come up with measurement criteria. So the measurement criteria, for example, could be the number of steps you walk, the number of healthy meals that have fresh fruit and vegetables that you've consumed, the number of healthy dry fruits that you have consumed, the number of meals where you have avoided red meat, that you have changed from red meat to a more vegetarian mix in your meal. All of this you have to measure, and you have a clear plan to measure so that this can be measured on a daily basis. And when you begin to measure, you will start to plot a pattern. You will start to see a pattern. And this is the same in our personal lives as well as in the office environment or in the factory environment. Things always go chaotic. Once you set a goal, you will see that things are always going chaotic. But once you start to measure them, you will start to see how things are going chaotic. So the next phase is measuring. And in the measurement phase, one of the common rules is called the Pareto chart, which is nothing but the 80-20 rule. So what is the 80-20 rule? The key principle of the 80-20 rule says that 80% of the impact is always coming from 20% of the measured results. This is generally true for most things in life. So, in the case of fitness, what you need to do is look at what kind of meals you are consuming and look at how many workouts or walks you have actually performed, and if you organize that in the descending order by date, you will see that 20% of the reasons why you missed out are causing 80% of negative results or are contributing heavily on you not being able to meet your goals. So fix those heavy 20%, and those heavy 20% could be instances where you felt highly stressed, therefore you binged on food. You felt highly stressed on some days, therefore you did not carry out your workouts or you did not go out for your walks. On some days you felt stressed and tired, therefore you binged watched TV and you did not continue with your scheduled plan. So that way the 80-20 rule always applies, and you can measure your progress and look at the measurement using the 80-20 rule in order to arrive at and identify those 20% of factors which have the heaviest impact on your goal achievement. That is called the Pareto principle. Now let's move to the next phase. So we have defined, now we are measuring, now let's analyze. There are many techniques to analyze. One of the most effective ones which I like and I implement is called as the Fishbone Technique, or also called as a cause and effect analysis framework. So it's a fairly simple technique to analyze. So a fishbone, as you can see, has a midline, which is the main spine, so to speak, and then you have branches, which is the bone branches, and then you have smaller bones for each of the bones which is coming from the main spine, right? So the main bone or the main spine has the cumulative effect and the big outcome, which is, let's say I did not meet my goal or I failed in my health improvement plan. If that is the effect, then what were the causes, the main causes, or what showed up as events or symptoms, right? You put it down in each fin and then again analyze what led to that particular instance or event or negative outcome. So you look at the causes that have been interrelated to a particular effect. And then all of those little causes which have caused a particular negative impact will be obvious to you, and you'll also see the positive aspects. When you see the negative, when you document all the negative, the positive will become obvious. And overall, you can see the interrelationships of how one leads to the other. And then you identify by putting weights which are the really high causes which is occurring again and again and contributing to negative outcomes. If you avoid negative outcomes, then the outcome becomes positive. So this is one way of analyzing. This is an analytical methodology which one can apply. Once you've analyzed that these are the areas where I am missing my goals and these are the reasons for missing my goals, then you need to find a way to improve from where we are to where we need to go. And a very simple and powerful technique is called as the PDCA cycle. Plan, do, check, act. Plan, do, check, act. Plan, do, check, act in a cyclical manner every day. So check what you planned, then check is it against the plan, and then once you've done your checking, you do, and then whatever you plan, then you do something, then you check whether you're doing according to plan, and then you take corrective action, and then repeat the cycle. So if you get into the PDCA mode, it's very easy to manage improvements in small pockets so that you can have a sum total of a net incremental effect, a snowball effect towards the larger goal. So PDCA is something which is done every day on the factory floor. And PDCA is something that we can do in our daily lives with regards to our health improvement plan. And once we have set the PDCA cycle, now we have to see how to control. So improvement has been done. How do we control? How do we control? Let's say we've achieved a certain amount of health and well-being. Now how do we stay there and improve further? So we need control. So establish a control chart which tells you what are the indicators that you are having good health and well-being, and monitor those on a control chart. The day you think that is slipping, then you have to go back to define, measure, analyze, improve and control, and the cycle continues. So this, my friends, is a very powerful technique to apply in our lives and commit towards continuous improvement. Lean Six Sigma can be brought into our daily lives to improve the quality of life and make sure that we can balance our work and our personal life and achieve a holistic well-being. I hope you gained from this presentation, and I wish you very good health now and for years to come. If you like the videos, please subscribe, share and press on the bell icon to receive notifications. And also please do comment on whatever you want to communicate, and please suggest what other topics you would like to watch me present to you. Thank you.